Welcome back to Two Guys
Oh, podcast
and UFC 185.
Exclamation point.
Man, what a pay-per-view that was.
Yeah, this was different. Y'all, I'm so used to watching the early knockouts and the one round.
The 16-second fights.
14-second
fights, yeah.
This is why I've always said I'll never buy a UFC pay-per-view because you don't know if you're going to get an hour and a half or if you're going to get 3 hours.
And man, we got 3 hours tonight.
3 hours and 10 minutes.
Man, there were 5 matches on the main card, sorry.
Right.
2 championship matches, the strawweight and
women's.
Yeah, women's and the God, I forgot already. Was it bantamweight?
Yes.
The men's bantamweight, where I'll say this, even though Pettis lost, dude put up a fight. Well, when I say put up a fight, he took a beating.
Right.
And I mean, he never got knocked out, didn't submit. Although he was so very close to being submitted with the Kimura.
Yeah. Well, they kept calling it a key lock, but we knew what was coming. I mean, he did a really good job of defending against it, and it's kind of funny because I felt like the two fighters mirrored each other. You know,
it was like they're fighting a clone of themselves, just about.
Right, except one was taking the other down just way too much. And speaking of takedown, oh my God, what was that one match where the guy kept taking him down, like the control time?
Hendricks versus Hendricks versus Brown. It was a control. The stat show it was control time of 11 minutes and some seconds to 13 seconds.
Yeah, that's like...
I mean, Hendricks' ground control game was just absurd in this fight. I mean, it's pretty much he took him down, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 7 times in the 3 rounds. And...
I believe 7 out of 8?
It was 7 out of 8. And the one time that he didn't really take the guy down was, I mean, he blocked it, but like 2 seconds later, he got taken down right again. I mean, it was just unbelievable the job that Hendricks was able to do, and I'm looking forward to see if he gets a title shot next.
Who would he be facing if he did get a title shot?
Well, that's what we're gonna have to wait and see now, because that title is going to be on the line, if I'm not mistaken, at was it 186? I think he's at 186 is the next title defense.
Is that the Jones?
No, that's not Jones. No. And he's on the same weight class as Jones.
Okay. Well,
we'll definitely be reviewing that one for sure. But the fight of the night is still going to be the Pettis versus Anjos.
Yeah.
I mean, that 5 rounds of both men, I mean, they were just going at it. When they were standing up, at least. Right. When it went to the ground, it was completely... Anjos had control of that fight the entire time when it went to the ground.
I mean, you could kind of tell. I mean, because, every fighter has a different style. Every fighter doesn't want to do certain things, does want to do certain things. And you can tell that Pettis didn't really want to go to the ground. He didn't want to do that. He wanted, like, a traditional...
Stand up, slug it out, see who's better. Yeah. And I think that's why Anjos started taking it to the ground, was because... when he was standing up, I mean, he was landing some big hits.
And if it wasn't for Dos Anjos getting that arm up just in time, he would have had that match won like at least 4 or 5 times. Because he kicked him right where his head was. But Dos Anjos got it. I mean,
Pettis, in a sense, I mean, he controlled some of the stand-up game. He didn't land a lot of strikes. If I'm not mistaken, at one point, Dos Anjos had something like 117 significant strikes in the fight, which that is an absurd amount, seeing that it hadn't even... I think it was still in the 3rd round when it was at 117 significant strikes.
Yeah, he absorbed a lot of hits. I think it was like 47 to the head, 60-something to the body.
Yeah, Pettis was taking...
40 to the legs.
I think that's the main reason why Dos Anjos wanted to take it to the ground at that... I mean, for most of it, is because Pettis was just absorbing everything that Dos Anjos was dishing out to him. And then finally, he noticed that, of course, once he took it to the ground, it was a completely different story.
Yeah, and Pettis did get cut open pretty early. I think it was like end of the first round.
End of the first round, beginning of the second round, somewhere around there.
It got to the point to where he couldn't see out of his right eye.
Yeah, it was bad. But with that being said, though, Pettis was able to give Dos Anjos a cut, if I'm not mistaken, just above his left eye, and did bust his nose open as well.
Right.
I
and I wonder, it's kind of funny, our listeners out there, more people are going to be willing to listen to this than others because some aren't MMA fans, some are MMA fans. I know two guys who are big MMA fans, and they have the same first name.
Really?
Yeah, Aaron.
Oh, okay.
Well, obviously Aaron's your friend from high school, right?
Yeah.
Aaron is my friend who's still in high school. He's a friend of mine at work, and he said he's really into MMA. So I'm going to talk to him tomorrow, and I'm going to
get his opinion, pick his brain a little bit.
Right. I'm going to see if he saw it. If not, whenever he gets to check it out, we can listen to the podcast and get his opinions. And hopefully we can have him on one of them. He desperately wants to be on one of our podcasts.
He does?
Yeah, because he says he has absolutely nothing to do for spring break. So
maybe you might have a special guest next week. I don't know.
You never know.
But one of the most disappointing fights to me, even though it did go the full 3 rounds, was the Alistair Overeem versus Big Country. God, I forgot the guy's name now. I know him as Big Country because I kept calling him Big Country.
Let's call him Big John because he looked like our friend Jonathan Freeman.
Anyway, one of the things that annoyed Roy Nelson. There we go.
His name was Roy Nelson.
One of the things that was bugging me about that fight, and I know it's legal to kick a guy right in the knee, like just above the knee in the thigh area. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but that's one of the I think that's one of the cheapest ways to try and break somebody down. Just continuously targeting their knee. I have no problem with the calf. I have no problem with that, like targeting the thigh, ankle. But the knee, like it's
a cheap way to win, and I understand there's a lot of cheap ways to win that are legal. It's just if you are like a big bodybuilder, this and this, that and that, and you're top of the line, and
you don't need to go after
taking steroids. It's like, wow, really? What a way to cheapen your reputation. And now it's like these guys, they're kicking people in the knees. They're like in the last match, Pettis, I kind of praised him because there were times where he could have lifted his knee to hit Dos Anjos in the face, but he didn't.
Yeah, they won a good fight, and that they gave a good fight. But the Overeem versus Roy Nelson fight, Overeem did win. He could have won in so many other ways had he not just continuously focused on Nelson's knee like he was.
Right. And I'll give Nelson Big Country some credit because he like those cartoon animes where a character experiences a hit, but you can't ever hit him like that again because he's already saw it coming.
Yeah.
Roy Nelson was very, very good at adapting to Overeem's offense.
He absorbed a lot of punishment, though. Did you see the welts on his right side? One
kick to the side of his ribs, his stomach area. It was bruised up, and his calf.
Was bruised. He was. And know what was unbelievable? Was amazing about that? He absorbed all that pain. You saw all the damage done to him. Not once did you see him like limp around in the ring or in the octagon or anything like that until the fight was over.
Yeah, he didn't want to show the weakness. He didn't want the blood to smell the shark.
He didn't
want the shark to smell the blood in the water. Yeah, I apologize.
He absorbed everything Overeem had to give. And there were a couple points in the fight too where Overeem started running away from those big punches, and it's like,
I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, come on, how are you going to be the big dog in the yard and talk all that trash and
then run away
from it? It's like, I know it's legal, but it's like, come on, give us a good fight.
And stand in there, swing away, take him down to the ground if you want. Just do something. Don't run away from him.
And one thing I didn't like is it seemed like Overeem relied way too much on the high knees,
Oh yeah, he was relying really, and he relied. I think he tried to throw that as like, okay, I'm gonna knock him out with a high knee type of thing.
And he became very predictable.
Oh, yeah.
High knee, high kick, 2 kicks to the calf, another high knee, another high kick, another couple.
If I'm not mistaken, at one point in the fight, you're like, he's gonna throw this kick, and then he's gonna do this kick, and then he's gonna throw a punch, and just like clockwork.
It was very predictable. The fact that he was able to beat Lesnar before is a miracle to me.
Okay, we'll talk about that Lesnar fight in another podcast down the line somewhere, because we're just not going to get into it right now.
No, well, I wasn't going to talk about it. I was just mentioning.
I know.
That's like a feather in his cap, the fact that he beat Lesnar,
I don't really think it should be a feather in his cap. It's just he caught Lesnar at the right time. He caught Lesnar at the right time.
It's in the history books.
Anyway,
but speaking of running away, the champion in the strawweight women's.
Oh my
match,
God, Cookie Monster! I forgot her name. Carla Perez, was it?
No, it was not Carla Perez. Carla Zarganos.
Anyway,
Zargano, I apologize.
We didn't really pay attention to their names that much. Sorry about that. Anyway, the women's strawweight match. I mean, it was just dominated by the challenger all the way from start to finish. It was
like
brutal.
The first round, you could see the champion, why she was the champion. You know, there were some grappling. You know, they wanted to showcase their other skills. You know, not just because they were striking at each other. You know,
it
was pretty damn.
The second round, I mean, moment the second round kicked off.
Hey, do you see what I see, Colin?
What do you see?
E85 gas at HEB is at $1.15 a gallon.
That's good. We're doing a podcast right now, though.
I'm giving the people that live in the Spring Branch area. Oh, it's $1.75. I apologize. There was a Paul in the way.
Anyway, back to the podcast here. The last 3 minutes of that second round was pretty much, dude.
95% to 5%.
It was pretty much
ratio that was.
I mean, everyone was
dominated by the challenge,
and everyone was pretty much the knockout is coming. I mean, it wasn't a matter of.
No, that was you. That was only you. Oh, dude, my God!
I felt you. Okay. You felt it. You saw it coming, though.
I'm sitting next to Khalid in the movie theater where they're playing the event, and all I hear for like a minute and a half, it's coming. It's coming. Dude, like, oh
you just had that feeling, though. And Joe Rogan did say you can feel it.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can feel that it's coming.
You just knew it was going to happen.
Every punch that the challenger
that she landed, it was like
it was shaking her down. It was knocking her down. It was slowing her down. It was doing everything that a challenger needs to do
to get a win. I mean, she deserved that title after that fight. I mean, there was no way that you could justify saying, oh well, the champion should retain this after that second round. I mean, there was no way.
The only way that Cookie Monster was going to win that match was
pulling the miracle. Knockout. I mean, she needed a miracle to win that match, and it just did not show up for her.
And unfortunately for the Cookie Monster, that's just the way the cookie crumbled. It did not go in her way at all, and her first title defense was not.
Now the question: do you think she's going to want a rematch anytime soon? I mean,
does she want a rematch? Yeah, but does she have to go back and evaluate what?
She's gonna have to
brings to the table.
She's gonna have to change up her stand-up game big time.
Yeah, because watching Ronda Rousey fight in the last match, I thought to myself, she's really strong if she can get a hold on you. But what if she goes up against somebody like Holly? I can't remember her last name.
Holly Holmes. Yeah,
somebody with long legs that can kick from a distance. I think you could definitely expose some weaknesses in her game. And Carla was definitely a striker, and she showed it. But the challenger's grappling.
Carla wasn't a striker. Carla was a grappler. Cookie Monster was a grappler.
Well, no, I'm saying that she was a striker in the first round because
she tried being a striker.
She threw some pretty good punches that landed. I mean, they weren't as effective as they looked.
Yeah.
And with the challenger, I can't remember her name. I think it was Jana, anyway. Her grappling was...
Her takedown defense was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Her takedown defense was just unbelievable. I mean...
And her reach seemed to be about 1,000 feet, because she was landing punches out of nowhere. Cookie Monster was running around. She had no idea. She
didn't know what to do. And I guess that's a big problem with... She's going to have to learn to stand up and, strike with some of these.
Yeah, or better defense,
Something. She's going to have to figure something out.
Or bob and weave. I don't know, Matrix style,
Yeah. But, with that being said, if you do live in Houston, there was some big news announced for UFC.
October 3rd.
UFC 192 is going to be here in Houston, Texas.
We looked up some ticket prices, and
they haven't listed them yet for Houston, but the average cost, you're looking at about, what, $150?
Well, one event that didn't have such,
big star power.
It was like $75 for a cheap seat. Another one that had high star power was like 225. So we averaged it out about 150, 160 for.
So you could probably be looking at prices depending on who's on the card. They haven't announced it yet. I'm pretty sure in the next 2-3 months we'll start hearing names being thrown out for it.
Right, and I got my fingers crossed. I know Khalid's got his finger crossed. We're hoping for a Ronda Rousey.
Hopefully, but those are normally safe for Vegas, unfortunately.
What are you talking about? Houston is just as big as Vegas as far as like the money that they bring in.
I'm talking about the gambling, though.
Wait, no, what? Oh my,
Just throwing that out there.
Look, whatever. You know what?
Anyway.
I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna see the pay-per-views. Yeah, I'm gonna see the pay-per-views that Ronda Rousey's been on, and I'm gonna try to predict if she's gonna be here or not. That's what
we'll figure it out.
185, 182. That's 7 pay-per-views in between, and
we'll let you guys know for sure if we hear anything.
And we're actually thinking about either we go watch the match, or if there's like a fan expo where we can get to meet her.
Hopefully we'll get one of those.
Yeah, we'll try to meet
But
Ronda Rousey.
with that being said, guys, we're out. If you have a chance to watch UFC 185 on replay. Replay.
I gotta say, it was one of the best quality pay-per-views I've seen in a long time.
You got your money's worth.
Yeah, definitely.
We're out. See ya.
Take it easy.